Hi guys, Mike here, in bad need of a haircut, but here nonetheless. So, I've got this friend that has a 308 Remington bolt action rifle. And in fact, he has two of these rifles. One rifle has a custom bolt on it, and he likes the way the knob feels, the arm that comes off the bolt that holds the knob. He likes the way it feels, and it gives him plenty of access to the trigger and the trigger guard. But the other one is awkward, and it kind of interferes with him going from the knob to the trigger. So what he's asked me to do here today is make a couple of knobs, and we've gone over some various designs, and we've looked at some different sizes and shapes of different ones that are available commercially, and we've come up with a couple that he thinks might work for him. One of them is kind of on the order of the one that he already has that he likes. The problem is that the arm coming off the bolt presents the knob in a little different position, but we're hoping that we can come up with a design of a knob that overcomes this. So let's have a little bit closer look at what we've got here. Okay, here's a sketch of the knobs that we're going to make. We're going to make two knobs, and we started out with a couple iterations. This knob right here is one that's available commercially, and we thought that might work out, and we pretty much duplicated it on our own drawing, but he decided that's not going to work for him. He did want the knurls, and he wanted a little bit deeper cutout in here, so that's where we came up with this style here. And then this one here is pretty close to matching the knob that he has on the bolt that he has on the gun that he likes. And so that's what we're going to do. It's a little dicey of trying to figure out how to hold this while we flip it around and do the dome work, but I think we can handle that. So let's go ahead and take the drawing and the steel over the lathe, and we'll get fired up and get started on this. So I've got the first side of this first knob turned up, and this is kind of an awkward one. I of course turned it with it attached to the bar, put this long taper on it, but now I have to turn it around and cut a slight dome on this end, and as you can see there's really nothing to hold on to this thing with, and really I have a little straight here, but I'm reluctant to put it in my 3-jaw because to put enough pressure on this to hold it from slipping while I'm turning this dome, no doubt I will mar this surface. And as this is for a firearm and it is somewhat cosmetic, I don't want to mar this surface at all. So I did consider leaving an extension on this end to hold it, but that presents some issues also. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to now change over from my 3-jaw to my collet chuck, and I think I can hold it with a collet and not mar this surface and still have enough room to get this dome turned on here. So that's where we're at, and I actually won't do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn that other knob up before I remove my 3-jaw. So I'm going to just set this one aside for right now, and we'll get onto that second knob. Okay guys, so this first knob is done. So we'll just set this one aside. Now we've got this knob here, and this is the one with a long taper with a problem of how to hold on to this thing after we've finished the one side. And originally I talked about maybe changing my 3-jaw chuck over to my collet chuck and holding here, but you see there isn't much to line up on. There is about 1/4 of an inch of straight, and there's nothing saying that if I put it in there that it couldn't be doing one of these numbers a little bit, and that would make this dome on the end of it look a little bit funky. So what I decided to come up with, or what I decided here, was to make up a little washer the same diameter as this, and using this screw hole as an axle, I'll just put a number 1032 screw in here like so, and now I can grip on here, and the back side of the jaw, or the inside of the jaws, will square up on this, and I should have a pretty good holding situation. So my only problem now is I have to put something around here, with an equal amount around here, to prevent this from marring, because this is a finished surface. If I mar this, I've got nothing to hold on to polish it back out, so I have to preserve this polished surface. So this is where we are. I've just cut this off, and this just needs to be domed a little bit, and a little bit of a radius put on this surface here, and then we can call this one done. So I'm going to put this over in the vise right now with my copper jaws and tighten this washer up. Okay, now we have both knobs complete. For those of you that are squeamish about firearms, my friend is in law enforcement. He's a sheriff's deputy, and he is a member of the SWAT team, and very qualified and familiar with firearms. And so I'm not doing anything illegal here. So that's pretty much it for this one. This is kind of a simple little video. What's coming up in the future? I want to make a full floating bearing for a spindle for sharpening end mills, and in order to do that I had to order a steady rest, and it'll take some time to get here before I get into that project. I need the steady rest in order to do some work on the spindle for this end mill sharpening setup. So I've ordered one on eBay. I ordered one that was listed as not knowing what the brand was, and looking at it, it looks a lot like a steady rest for a Clausen Colchester lathe, I did some estimating and so forth. With a little luck, this thing will work on my lathe, but I fully expect to have to do some modifications to get it to work. But anyway, I need a steady rest for this project, so I've got one coming. It should be here in another week or two. So we'll call this one a wrap. Here's the 2 spindles, or not the 2 spindles, check. So here's the 2 knobs for this 308 Remington bolt action, and I'll give these to my friend. He can try them out and tell me which one works better. Well, he can have both of them, whichever one works for him, or maybe he'll want a modification for another knob. So until next time, guys, this is Mike signing out. This individual, this friend of mine, is in law enforcement, and he's a member of the SWAT team. Not SWAT team, forget it. Check.